Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting from Club Bonafide here in New York City. Blessing the band stage tonight and performing his residency here every third Thursday here at Club Bonafide is guitarist Marcus Machado. Now, as you might know, 2 years ago, this gentleman won the Next Young Gun contest by Rolling Stone magazine. And this gentleman has played with legends like the Family Stand as well as the great Victor Bailey, just to name an endless few. Tonight, he's playing music from his brand new CD, 29, which is on the Purpose Music record label. And I had a chance to sit down and talk with this Brooklyn-born native to talk about his origins growing up, his musical influences, and we reflect on the life of Prince Rogers Nelson. Also, we sat down and talked about this very exciting residency, which he's going to be hosting here every third Thursday here at Club Bonafide. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds of the great Marcus Machado, live here at Club Bonafide, here on the Pace Report, here in New York City. This was a very, very important set for you this evening. In fact, this year has been very important for you. You have a brand new EP that's been out for a while entitled 29, Explain to the viewers what this is about.
Yeah, 29 is just basically a compilation of everything, that I grew up with. You hear a little bit of hip hop, you hear a little bit of jazz, a little bit of funk. And the reason why I named it 29, my birthday is February 9th, but my grandfather, he passed away a couple years ago. His birthday was January 29th. And maybe a few months after he died, leading up to this date, everywhere I will go, there's 29. I could be sitting right here, randomly there's 29 in front of my face. On a plane, seat 29, hotel room 29, everything is 29. So for me, I kind of look at that as a sign or a deeper message. I don't know what it is. So that's the reason why that I call it 29. And basically it's just a journey, just a journey and just taking people on a ride, with all different genres of music.
You won the prestigious Rolling Stones Next Young Gun contest. And over the last decade, man, you have played with some very important heavyweights in the industry.
Yeah, man. I played everybody from the legendary Victor Bailey. He was the bassist for Weather Report. For you guys that don't know, Sandra St. Victor, of course, that's my second mom. Family Stand, a lot of different people. I also lived over in Amsterdam, in Holland for a couple of years, so I had the chance to play with several different artists over there. And just trying to get better. That's all it is, man.
You are really an amalgamation, like you said earlier, of the hip-hop generation. But there's a lot of rock, there's a lot of blues, and I want to understand where that came into your psyche, because you started playing guitar when you were about 2 years old.
Yeah. I can credit that to my parents. My mom, she was heavily like Earth, Wind, Fire, Miles Davis, Joni Mitchell, John Denver, list goes on, John Scofield. And then on my father's side was like strictly rock, like Jimi Hendrix, Sly Stone, Larry Graham, Graham Central Station. Then my older brother was like Tribe, Jay Dilla, Tupac, Biggie. So, in the house, there were several different genres of music. So for me, it was like, I was like a sponge, just soaking up everything. So even to this day, when I travel, when I go to different places, I tell people always have an open mind to music, because we could go somewhere today and you think that you have all the records and you'll hear something that'll just blow you away. You just be like, wow, what is this? I never heard of it before. So that's for me, is just try to, keep my ear out to the newest thing and just, be a collector, There's always something new to learn. So that's what I try to do.
Brooklyn is what you rep. You're from the mighty borough of Brooklyn, and there was 7 of you. Tell me how the competition was like as far as learning the music and trying to compete, because from what I understand, at 4 years old, you were playing Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Kindergarten, my first graduation song was "Wind Cries Mary" from Jimi Hendrix. So that was funny, and I had the synthesizer guitar and stuff like that. But my older brother, he played guitar too. So sometimes we would battle back and forth, and I would play drums because I play different instruments too, and he'll play guitar. And it wasn't really a competition. It was more like just learning. Whatever my older brothers, that I didn't know, they put me on the stuff, I would put them on the stuff, even down to my younger sisters now. She's into Tyler, the Creator, Kanye, Kid Cudi, and all that. So, I'll just try to keep an open ear for everything, man, and just try to learn. We learn from each other.
rock and roll is something that people of color created
Right.
and invented, and
Right.
we don't see too much of people like yourself, Gary Clark Jr., TV on the radio. You guys are really out, and yeah, what is it that is not attracting people to American roots music, the young generation?
You know what I think it is? I think for the younger generation, they're just not being educated. They don't know because, I think my generation was like the last. Like, I'm an 80s baby. So, when I was coming up, I was like right at the very end went from cassette to CD. So that generation right there, everything else is digital now. Anybody that you want to look up, you go on YouTube, you download it. For me, we had vinyls, you know what I mean? So we had cassette and vinyl. So I was like the last generation of that. And I think with the younger generation, you still have a lot of young people that's into music and they learn, but it's just a lack of, they just don't know, you know what I mean? And especially when it comes to rock and roll and blues, we created this, a lot of people, I think people of color, we're kind of like, we're afraid of it. Even look at cats like Jimi Hendrix himself. It's not until now, to this day, that people are actually acknowledging and giving him the due that he deserves. Because back in the 60s, he was playing rock. He had an integrated band in 68, 69. And people were like, what are you doing? Like, this is too wild. He played in Harlem and they threw eggs at him after when he played Woodstock. A lot of people don't know that. He did a free concert for the United Bloc Association Black Panthers in Harlem. It's like a week after Woodstock. And, people were like, ooh, is this cat? He's weird, it's too loud or whatever. But, for me, it's just try to just carry that torch. And, if I can be any help to music or guitar playing and help somebody else, that's what it's all about. Because for me, I look at us as messengers, you know what I mean? So it's not about me at all. For me, it's about the gift that I have and give back, you know what I mean? So that's what I really believe in.
You play the Stratocaster, and you have your own line of Stratocaster guitars, which is why.
Yeah, tonight, what you saw up on stage, that's my own custom-made guitars. It's called guitars. They're made like a Stratocaster, but the wood is different. I made it in Holland, actually, with a builder in Amsterdam. And basically, I'm a Strat guy, but I wanted the sound to be a little bit light, a little bit more different. So I went and we found custom-made pickups and built everything from scratch. And what you see is my own guitar line. So right now, they're custom-made built, and I'm going to have it online. My new website is out, officialmarcusmachado.com, so everybody can look up for that. So, I have merchandise. I have the custom guitars available online, too, as well. So,
Let's move back to American roots music for a minute.
Yeah.
You're doing something that not too many guitarists have done, and you have really incorporated, like we said earlier, multi-layers of the American roots music that you grew up listening to. Jeff Beck, there's a handful of guitarists I can think of that really kind of took the music that they love and kind of made it contemporary, made it to where people can understand how you can bring it today.
Definitely. And Prince is, by far, today, Prince unfortunately passed away, but Prince was a prime example of that. He could be very pop, but at the same time, very funky, very rock. And, that's coming from Stevie Wonder, Sly Stone, and it's just generations after generations. And, I think now with his passing, people like D'Angelo, Raphael Sadiq, Anderson .Paak, that's out now. There's so many different layers that you see that, we're all coming from the same thing. We just do it in our own style. And, for me, it's just educate, keep it going. It may sound a little bit different, but it's still the same thing, no matter what,
are some of your musical influences? Who are some of your guitar influences?
Wow. Jimmy, of course, he's my all-time favorite. Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Albert King, John Scofield, Jeff Lee Johnson, Eddie Hazel, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Wes Montgomery, George Benson, Jeff Beck. You know, it's so many different layers. You know, Paco de Luciano. You know, Jose Feliciano. You know, everything. You know, for me, I just try to grab my hands on everything that I can grab. You know.
You said Eddie Hazel.
Of course. Eddie
Not
Hazel.
too many people talk about Eddie Hazel.
Man, Eddie Hazel for me, my top two is Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Hazel, because Eddie Hazel was an extension of what Jimi Hendrix was. You know, Band of Gypsies, if you go back to Band of Gypsies, that is the first Parliament Funkadelic. What we know now is Funkadelic. And, you know, when Jimmy passed, Eddie, he brought that to the next level. So when you had Funkadelic, all these songs like Red Hot Mama, Standing on the Verge, Maggot Brain, you know, a lot of people was like, wow, this is amazing, but that's really Jimmy too, but he just put it in his own way. And for me, you know, he's the most underrated guitar player out there, man. There's so much, you know, homage that I pay respects to Eddie Hazel, you know, and I try to, in my playing, I try to incorporate all of that in, because, you know, a lot of people don't know. And it's a shame, because he was such a great talent, you know, great talent.
He gave the early Parliament records that edge and that sound.
Most definitely. You know, go back, go check it out. You know, I mean, Eddie is like, for me, is the guy. You know, because not only his soloing, but his rhythm too. Like rhythm, playing, soloing at the same time. The live concerts. You know, Dr. Funkenstein, like all those records. Especially, I love the era with him and Bootsy. A lot of people don't know, like his album. You know, Guitar Things and stuff, Dames and Things. Like that was, for me, Frantic Moment is my favorite Eddie Hazel song, you know what I mean? The California Dreamin', all those songs, man. The list goes on, you know. So I try to incorporate that. Same as Jay Dilla on the flip side. Jay Dilla is one of the most powerful hip-hop producers. Like, he was taking the jazz element like what Tribe Called Quest was doing it, but making the MPC sound like a live drum, you know, and it's just as heavy. Like, those cats, you don't find that, you know, they come very rare. You know, so for sure, pay homage to them.
The first time I was very familiar with you was with a band called The Family Stand. And, you know, Sandra and the guys, they really kind of took you on like a son. And what is it about playing with them that really kind of took you to a whole nother level musically?
Well, I mean, for me, a Family Stand those are my mentors. You know, V. Jeffrey Smith. You know, if it wasn't for him, he was the first guy that they brought me over to Europe. You know what I mean? When I was 17, and there was a studio in Brooklyn, Peter Panic. It's called Fugitive Entertainment, and he had his studio. He did a lot of records with Jay-Z on his first album, and Jeff. They had two studios, so Jeff had the basement. He was like, "Yo, I got to show you this kid. He can play." And Jeff is one of the guys. He's like, nothing doesn't impress him at all. You know what I mean? So I came in there, and you know, I started playing. He goes, "I got some work for you." And a couple weeks later, he called me up and he goes, "Listen, Family Stand is doing a tour in Europe. Would you love to come out to Europe and perform and tour?" I was like, "What?" I go, "This is crazy. I never been. If I go to Europe, I'm gonna try to live out there." And you know, Sandra St. Victor, Peter Lord, Jeff, they really mold me and really, you know, school me on the business. You know, playing, you know, just master teachers. You know what I mean? And I owe everything to them, because they really opened my eyes to a lot of things, you know. For me, of course, before Family Stand, you know, I already knew about Jimmy, and I knew about Fishbone and Living Color and all that. But what they brought to the game is like no other. You know, there was another one, too, that you can be really rock, but then very ballad and funky at the same time. You know, and powerful lyrics, you know, stuff that to this day, Ghetto Heaven, everybody covers that to this day. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know that. And then besides from Family Stand, they was on produced a lot of records. Whitney Houston, Billy Ocean, Paula Abdul. I mean, there's some Daryl Hall. I mean, there's so many records that, you know, that they're not, you know, and the thing is with them, they don't brag about it. You know, Prince, you know, Son St. Victor, you know, Prince, Shaka Khan, you know, a lot of records. So for me, you know, I tried, as a youth, I tried to, you know, learn from them as much as I could. And still to this day, you know what I mean? So I owe everything to the Family Stand for sure.
You guys, Purpose Music and Marcus,
Yeah.
you guys are going to be here every third
Thursday,
Thursday
yeah, yeah.
here at Club Bonafide.
Yes, yes.
Tell everybody what this is about.
Yeah, Club Bonafide tonight is our first show of residency. I have residency here, so each night, what I want to do, I call it the New Vibe Renaissance. Basically, it's like a movement that we try to create. So all different musicians can come out, jam, play, and just vibe, and we just connect. Like tonight, we had a little bit of hip hop, had a little bit of funk, a little bit of jazz at the same time, and yeah, every third Thursdays of each month that I will be here, two sets, starting at 9:30 and the second set at 11 o'clock. So you can go to officialmarcusmachado.com or go to clubbonafide.com and you'll see all the details there for sure.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace reporting from Club Bonafide here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank the talented Marcus Machado for his time. Also, I'd like to personally thank the staff and management here at Club Bonafide for their warm hospitality. Also, I'd like to personally thank and congratulate Purpose Music Group for their warm hospitality as well as arranging my time with Marcus. Please make sure you support their important music showcase, which is held every third Thursday here at Club Bonafide. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.